Hello, and welcome to another of our Alchichs, Gems of the Alchich. I thought you might be interested to see this here. This is a gift by somebody I learn with Alchich every week. It's a first edition of the Alchich on Tanakh, or rather on Nach, and it was printed in 1603 by the son of the Alchich himself. Bound in pigskin in Venice. Incidentally, pigskin was very common in medieval Jewish works. It's no problem according to Jewish law. It was owned originally by somebody called Rabbi Chia Pontremoli, who was an Italian rabbi and one of the authors of the Alchich. And it's really quite exciting to have something as precious as this. So, and of course, with this Excedra, which is Lecho, we're going to travel back in time far deeper into the past. And so it's a Cedra of Lecho. We start, as we normally do, with our art scroll, and it's on page 54. If you've not got the art scroll and you're following it in the text, it's chapter 12 in Genesis, and we start at the beginning. And here we go. Vayam HaShem el Avrohom. And HaShem spoke to Avrohom, and he said to him, Lech Lecho, go for yourself, Mi'arzecho from your land, Moladecho from the place of your birth, and we be Savichan from your father's house. El Ores, to the land, Asher Areka, to the land which I have shown you. At the end of last week's Sedra, after Ur-Kasdim, the incident of Ur-Kasdim, which is only hinted at in the Torah, it just simply mentions that Avram leaves Ur-Kasdim. That was, of course, why the king Nimrod tried to burn them alive. But with HaShem on your side, these things don't work out exactly how kings want them to. And they start to go to the land of Israel, it says, and they don't quite make it there. They set out on the journey, and they end up in a different place, and not quite to where they wanted to get. So it says that at the end of last week's Sedra, so the Begedze Itam Ur-Kasdim, they went from Ur-Kasdim to Lech's Arsachanan to go to the land of Israel. But Yovo Haran, they came to a place called Haran, but Yeshasham, and they lived there. V'yeshasham means that they don't, it's rather reminiscent that so many Jewish people set out or have ambitions to set out to the land of Israel and settle there at some point in their life, don't quite manage it. And that's what happened here. And for the first time ever, HaShem speaks directly to Avram. So this is his first prophetic encounter with the Almighty. V'yoma HaShem el Avram. HaShem says to Avram, Lech Lecho, go for yourself, Me'atzcha, from the land of your birth, from the place of your birth, the place where you were born, Me'beis Avicha, and from your father's house, Ela Oretz Asher Areka, to the land which I'm going to show you. And Rashi says there, he's not going to tell him where it is. As part of the challenge, part of the test of this, the first time God speaks to him, the first challenge, and he doesn't know where he's going. So you've got to have a lot of faith in somebody if you're going on a journey and they don't tell you where it is. However, the Alchich here points out that there's something wrong with this these words, because it says you will leave from Moladetcho, Me'artzecho, from your land, from Moladetcho, the place of your birth, and your father's house. It should be the other way about. When you leave a place, you'll leave your father's house, and then after that you'll leave your city, and after that you'll leave your land. So why is it the wrong way around? Chronologically, I suppose geographically, it would make sense that it was the other way around. The father's house first, then the city, and then you leave your land and go to some other land. So the answer, says the Alchich, is a very important answer that the Alchich gives, and he says that in leaving his father's house, Avram might have regrets and might have doubts as to the wisdom of this move. After all, his whole mission in life is to try and inspire other people and let them know what Judaism has to say, what God has to say, what the Torah has to say. And where on earth could he possibly be more successful than his own land? And where in his own land would he be most primarily more successful than his own city? So if you take myself as an example, I come originally from Scotland. So I think of all the countries that I've ever spoken at all over the world, which is quite a few, and I was to say, which of all the countries do you think I would be most likely to be successful in conveying Torah ideas? Well, I think you probably reasonably suggest, well, the one you come from, Scotland, because you speak the same language, you know the same dialect, um, and you know the culture, you know the philosophy, you know the temperament of the people. And of course, there are different places in Scotland. I come from Glasgow. That's different to people in Edinburgh, to people in Aberdeen or in the far north of Scotland, but they still speak Scottish Gaelic. So the place that I would be most successful in would be my own city, which would be Glasgow. So here it says, no, leave your land. Hashem's saying to leave your land and leave your city. Lecho me artsecho ma moladetcho. And eventually your father's house. I'll come to that in a second. But isn't that where I'm going to be more successful? No, not necessarily so. There's a famous saying of the rabbis, teaching of the rabbis, that in Sadik Be'irai, nobody is seen and taken very seriously, no matter how great he is, in his own backyard. People will remember you when you were a kid, when you kicked a football through the window of some neighbour's house. And it's hard to take somebody seriously. No, the real blessing is from Avrohom is going, he's going to go and move to a different place, a place entirely different. It doesn't make any sense logically. You would think, stay in your own land, where you speak the language, where people understand you, and you understand them. That's where you'll succeed most. No. Go somewhere else, because the somewhere else that you're going to go to, says the Alchich, is the land of Israel. And here, in this land, where you were born, where you're unable to have children, as the Talmud says in Yevamos, Avram could not have children. Sarah couldn't have children. That's there. But in a different place, in this particular different place of the land of Israel, then every blessing that's been denied you up to now is going to come flowing through. You might also say, how can I leave my father? My poor old father? You know, it's interesting. There's a beautiful idea that sometimes when children grow up with well-known parents, then people say to them, oh, you are the son of or the daughter of, and then mention the father or the mother. But there's nothing nicer for a parent than when it's reversed and they say, oh, you the father of. I have children like that. It's a nice feeling. They have superseded you. And that's what Hashem says to him. And leave your father's house. You think that you're going to stay with your father, maybe you want to influence your father. No, no, no. His greatness is going to be reflected in you. Not that you are going to be subservient and secondary to him. No, he'll be secondary and subservient to you. And, of course, that'll be a good thing. So, and more than that, you won't need any blessings. I missed this bit out of the next posuk, and all the blessing of the world's peoples will be blessed through you. I don't have to give you a blessing, Hashem says, because of what you've done, what you've become, who you've become. Then you're a blessing machine. You give blessings to everybody else. All I have to guarantee is that that blessing spreads to them, and if anybody curses you, then I'll make sure that they're dealt with. But you don't need any more blessings. And you're going to have children, which of course is exactly what happens when Avram moves to the land of Israel. Message for us? Well, really quite straightforward. My perception, my understanding, my expectation, my strategy would be to stay in Glasgow, I suppose. Like Avram would probably have said, says the Alchich, I should stay in the land that I come from. Hashem says no. There's another strategy, my strategy. And really, I know things you don't know. And Avram moves to the land of Israel, gets the blessing, as people become extremely, extremely numerous, and the blessings of the whole world flow through the Jewish people. It'll be through you that the world is blessed. Nice idea. Good Shabbos.